जय श्री राधे जी। सब वैष्णवों को सादर सप्रेम जय श्री कृष्ण। श्री वल्लभाधीश की जय हो। 84 वैष्णवों की जय हो। जय श्री राधे। Today is day 85 and Varta 78, the story of Mataji Patel and his wife Vraja, who lived in Ujjain. Bhav Prakash. The way in which Mataji Patel and Vraja came to be disciples of Sri Mahaprabhuji has already been told in the story of Padmarawal and Gopal Das, so it is not repeated here. In the eternal Leela, these two are Sakhis of Sri Chandravadiji. Mataji Patel is named Rupa and his wife Harka. They were both born in Ujjain. Mataji Patel was very wealthy. Once Vraja came to Sri Gosaiji in Gokul and requested him to give her some seva. I had asked Sri Acharyaji, but he told me that Sri Gosaiji will fulfill your wish, she said. Therefore, please bless me in this way. Sri Gosaiji gave into her responsibility one of the little Sri Thakurjis with whom Sri Navaneet Preji played from the Gwal Mandali. Vraja supplicated, "O Maharaj, please teach me how Sri Thakurji can become pleased to let me experience his direct presence." Sri Gosaiji told her that she must love and respect Vaishnavas in the same way that she loved and respected him. Then the Lord will grant all your spiritual wishes. Vraja took his leave, took that Sri Thakurji and had a huge celebration. She called Vaishnavas from all the surrounding towns and villages and fed them all. She gave them money for their expenses and clothes, etc. She was in the company of Krishna Bhatt, the son of Padmarawal from Ujjain, and thus her mind became pure. Soon, Sri Thakurji began to allow her to experience him directly. Part 1. Every year, Vraja would go to Vraja to see Sri Gosaiji in Gokul and have the sight of Sri Govardhanaji. She would always come with some large wagons, one filled with jaggery, one with ghee. She would stay for 15 days in the proximity of Srinaji and 15 days in Sri Gokul. She had lots of preparations off to Sri Govardhandhara, and afterwards she would distribute the Mahaprasad to the cowherds and the cows. She would go to the cow pens and feed all the cows with wheat porridge and give new clothes and a small amount of money to all those who worked there. She gave lots of new jewellery and cloth to Srinaji. Everyone was very pleased. In Gokul, she gave lots of wealth to Sri Gosaiji and honoured all his family members with whatever they desired. Part 2. On one day, on the occasion of a festival, all the Vaishnavas were partaking of Mahaprasad, and Vraja was serving them on a Sakari Prasad with her own hands. She had a desire to feed them all with Sakari Prasad. She told Krishna Bhatt that she wanted to call Vaishnavas from all the surrounding villages and feed them Sakari Prasad with her own hands. Krishna Bhatt said, "If Sri Gosaiji agrees, then your desire will be fulfilled with great devotional mood. Go to Sri Gokul to Sri Gosaiji with the whole group of Vaishnavas. Then whatever Sri Gosaiji says will go. However, this idea will need a lot of funds to come true." Vraja went to Mataji Patel and told him her idea and asked him to fulfill it. "I would like to feed all the Vaishnavas with my own hand. I told Krishna Bhatt and he told me it will be a costly affair, as you will have to bring all the Vaishnavas to Gokul." Mataji Patel replied, "I have 100,000 golden coins. If this is enough, then please ask Krishna Bhatt to go ahead with the arrangements." Vraja went to Krishna Bhatt and told him this. He replied that yes, that was sufficient and that the Lord would surely fulfill her plan. Vraja told Mataji Patel that Krishna Bhatt had given the go-ahead, and so he collected all the coins together and gave them to her. Vraja went to Krishna Bhatt and placed the coins before him, requesting him to go ahead with the arrangements. Krishna Bhatt wrote letters to all the surrounding villages about the event and provided funds and transport to everyone who might attend. He provided tents and expenses to Vaishnavas from Gujarat and Halar. Then Krishna Bhatt and Vraja, along with all the local Vaishnavas, came to Gokul from Ujjain. When they were all there, they went to have the sight of Srinathji. Having offered Srinathji food, supplies, cloth and jewellery, they moved on to Sri Gokul. They went to have the sight of Sri Navaneet Preji and then came to Sri Gosaiji. Krishna Bhatt addressed him, "O Maharaj, it is Vraja's wish to feed all the Vaishnavas Sakari Prasad with her own hand, and that is why all these Vaishnavas have come here. Please now say the word and we will begin." Sri Gosaiji pondered that Virjo was very fortunate to have organised such an event. If I give the go-ahead now, there is no obstacle and the event will be known all over the Vaishnava world. However, I must adhere to Sri Acharyaji's Vedic rules and limits, and if I do not, then everyone will say that I have not kept to the Vedic ways because I allowed members of the Patel class to feed Sakari Prasad to Brahmins. Many souls' devotional mood will be spoiled if they hear such criticism. If I do not fulfill the desire of a Vaishnava to serve, then I will be going against the ways of the path of grace. I must fulfill the heart's desire of the devotee. Then he thought, I must act in such a way that no rules are broken and the devotees are satisfied and the Vaishnavas are also pleased. Sri Gosaiji then announced, we will be able to have this festival in Jagannath Puri. Also, all the Vaishnavas of the eastern region will be able to join in. Krishna Bhatt told Virjo that this is what would be done. Let's all go to Jagannath Puri, he said. All your wishes to serve will be fulfilled there. She agreed and hoped that Sri Gosaiji would also come there. Krishna Bhatt requested Sri Gosaiji to also come to Sri Jagannath Puri. I will come, he said, so that all the Vaishnavas will be happy. He called Sri Nanda and the Vaishnavas from the west, and they travelled together from Mathura to Agra. They collected the Vaishnavas from Agra and then moving on, those from Varanasi as well. In this way, they gathered up Vaishnavas from all the villages on the way. Wherever they camped, they made special and various offerings to Sri Thakurji and set up lots of tents for all the new Vaishnavas that had joined them. They sang various kirtans and told and listened to various discourses. Tradesmen travelled with them, bringing all sorts of supplies. The Vaishnavas were immensely pleased, having Sri Gosaiji sight and lots of new and interesting festivals, just like when Sri Krishna used to have parades in Dwarka. The elderly Vaishnavas had different means of transport. Wherever they passed through villages on the way, the residents became happy with the income that they gained. In this way, many Vaishnavas came together to Sri Purushottam Puri, Sri Jagannathji. They all went for the sight of Sri Jagannathji. Then immense varied amounts of sakari and anasakari dishes were prepared. Virjo then prepared a plate for Sri Gosaiji and fed him with her own hand. She was immersed in bliss as she served all the Vaishnavas herself. She cried with happiness and her body hair stood on end in joy. She thought, most blessed are Sri Gosaiji and also Krishna Bhatt and all these other great Vaishnavas, what joy they have brought me. In this way they all stayed in Sri Jagannath Puri for some more days and had new festivals every day. She made sure that all the Vaishnavas had what they most wanted. Then they all left that place, and on the return journey they also had new events every day. They got back to Sri Gokul and made more offerings in both Gokul and Srinath Jidwar. Whatever money was left over, Virjo gave to Sri Gosaiji. Sri Gosaiji was very pleased with the transcendental manner in which the trip had occurred. Virjo then took her leave of Sri Gosaiji and set off back to Ujjain. She fed all the accompanying Vaishnavas and gave them all money for their expenses. She gave them vessels and clothes and made them all very happy before letting them go. Virjo became a very nice Vaishnava through the association of Krishna Bhatt. Sri Gosaiji and all the Vaishnavas were very happy with her. Sri Thakurji was also very happy and began to communicate with her. Thus Mavji Patel and Virjo were recipients of Sri Acharyaji's great grace. Thus concludes Varta 78, the story of Mavji Patel and his wife Virjo from Ujjain, although there is, in reality, no end to this story. Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai ho, Shri Vrindavan Vihari Lal ki jai ho, Sab Vaishnavan ko jai Shri Krishna, Shri Vallabhadish ki jai ho, Shri Gosaiji ki jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai ho ji.